Hello and welcome to episode 139 of the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit video podcast. My name is Kimberly, also known as Sock Bunny, and this is Pumpkin, also known as my bestie. He's looking out the window as he does, his tail's flicking. Let's see if we can get his tail in there. Pumpkin, are you happy? Are you a happy boy? Yeah, are you a happy boy? Oh, he's rubbing his face on the windowsill. He likes to rub his face on the windowsill and also on the TV. He's a wackadoo. Are you a wackadoo? Oh, he's a happy boy. All right. Sorry about that. He was just being so adorable. I couldn't resist. I almost didn't get to sit here to record because he started meowing at me and was like, I don't want you to take my spot. But the lighting is perfect in this spot. I tried sitting on the other side, but then half my face is in shadow from the curtains. And so, anyway, now he's up in the windowsill standing and being adorable. So anyway, if you're a new viewer, welcome. Today is a very special day. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2015, and 4 years ago today was my very first podcast, and I cannot believe that it has been 4 years. It's been quite a road, let me tell you. So I am Sock Bunny pretty much everywhere, such as Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter. Those are the main places that I hang out these days. And I also have a Sims channel because I play The Sims, and I also have a Sims YouTube channel called Sock Bunny Sims. And I have Sims 3 and Sims 4 gameplay and tutorials and house builds and all different kinds of stuff if you want to check that out. And also another viewer named Shannon, she started her own Sims channel. It's called Clean Simmer. She's got a few episodes out if you want to check that out. And also Tina from the Knitting Blooms podcast has a Sims channel, and it is Tina Loves Sims. So go check that out if you want to. Today I'm wearing my favorite t-shirt, well, one of my favorites, Coca-Cola, and I'm sharing a Coca-Cola with my bestie, who is Pumpkin, or you. And Mr. Coca-Cola Bear is back here. I keep forgetting to mention him. Denise gave him to me. Denise from the Knitting Den podcast gave him to me, so I do love him. He might come back as one of my favorite things. Hi, everybody. All right, so enough of the wackiness. Oh, he's falling over. He's got to be comfortable. There we go. All right. So today is my 4-year podcast anniversary, if you want to call it. So I do want to say a few thank yous really quick. First, I want to thank God for giving me the ability to do this and for giving me viewers. Because when I first started, honestly, if 10 people would have watched it, I would have been happy because, you know, who wants to watch little old me sit and talk about knitting? My family certainly doesn't. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, was because my family was tired of hearing me try to talk to them about knitting. Also, my two daughters had moved up north to go to school. They were both in high school when I started this, and they were going to school in Rhode Island, if you'll remember. And they didn't want to hear about it, although Sarah did start knitting, and all her classmates, a lot of her classmates started knitting, so they wanted to hear about it, but nobody here wanted to hear about my knitting. So that was one of the reasons I started the podcast, and I have met so many awesome people. So I also want to say thank you to you, the viewer, and anybody who has commented or made any kind of contact with me via email or private message or comments on YouTube or comments in the Ravelry group, anything like that, thank you. Anybody who has given me emotional support, especially in the last year and a half, because if you've been watching, you know it's been crazy the last year and a half. And let's see, anybody who has donated for the different charities that I've done knit-alongs for or crochet-alongs for. Anybody who has donated door prizes. Some people have even donated money for me to mail door prizes, so thank you to you guys. Thank you to anybody who subscribes on YouTube in particular. Thank you to all the friends that I've made through this. In particular, a couple of podcasters that I want to mention, Denise from Knitting Den podcast, and also Tina from Knitting Blooms podcast. I feel like they are just two of the nicest ladies ever. My local friend Girl Dale, I love you. And anybody who's attended the last couple of retreats or who will be attending this year's retreat. And last but certainly not least, any John John fans out there. And if you're a new viewer or a newer viewer, John John is my stuffed bunny, and he's the real star of this show. He's not on today. He should totally be here for this. So sorry, John John. But anyway, yes, thank you to everybody. I truly, truly am grateful, and I love doing this. There have been a couple of times where I've considered stopping, but that's just been because of personal issues, not because of anything going on with the podcast. So, um, speaking of my family not wanting to listen to me, uh, my daughter Sarah actually turned 23 a week ago today. She is living in Chicago, Illinois, or right outside Chicago, Illinois, right now. She's a Catholic missionary. She's taken vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So she's sort of like a nun, but not a nun. She doesn't wear a habit. And so she'll never get married. Well, she's married to Jesus, so she will never get married. She'll never give me grandchildren, but that's okay. I guess I have spiritual grandchildren. And she's doing really well. They just went on vacation. They were in Michigan, and I asked her what she wanted for her birthday, and I pretty much would have gotten her anything, and she wanted candy. Some things never change. So she asked for Reese's Cups, Swedish Fish, and Sour Patch Kids. So I did send her a few other things also, but the cool thing is I ordered them through Amazon Prime, so I didn't have to like go shopping, put the stuff in the box, mail it to her or whatever. I could just pick out what I wanted and just send it up to her. So it was just so much, much, much easier. So yeah, my older baby is 21, so I mean 23. My younger baby is 21, so I think I'm getting old. Let's see. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Sock Stravaganza, finished objects, works in progress, upcoming events, fitness, tips and tricks, what I'm watching and reading, and favorite things. So let's talk about Sock Stravaganza. We only have just under 3 weeks left. Can you believe it? It's gone by so, so fast. So if you're not familiar with Sock Stravaganza is, you can go check out the Ravelry group. All the information is there. Basically, any pair of socks that you had on June 1st that was less than 50% or less done, you can enter it into Sock Stravaganza, and all the rules are on the website, so go check that out on Ravelry. It ends August 31st, and today's August 12th, so we're getting close. Let's talk about finished objects. I have a couple of finished objects. One is a pair of socks called Rose City Rollers. If you've been on Instagram and following any kind of sock knitters whatsoever, you have probably seen these socks. So I finished mine. They're just footies, basically, is what they are. And you just don't do any ribbing on the cuff and it rolls down. So this is what happens to knitting if you don't do some sort of pattern. It rolls up like that. So this is some yarn that Denise from the Knitting Den gifted to me, and it's the Lemonade Shop. And I think it was called Olive Speckled or something like that. So I am so happy these are done. I've taken all the socks that I have made myself this year, and I've given them to myself for Advent gifts. So yay, I'm going to have a lot of Advent gifts that are socks this year. Another pair of socks that I finished for Sock Stravaganza are my guacamole socks, which I started these socks last Sock Stravaganza, which was 2 years ago. So in September, no, I think I started them in like July of 2013. And I thought I had finished all my socks, and I keep all my notes in a spiral notebook. I showed it before, and I thought I had finished everything, and I pulled the spiral notebook out to use it again for this Sock Stravaganza, and lo and behold, there was a pair of socks in there that I thought I had finished and had not, and so I had to go digging around and find them. So one of these, I think this one I started first. These are toe up, and I'm sort of afraid of toe up. And if you know me, if I'm afraid of something in knitting, I really procrastinate with it. So that's not why I didn't finish this one, I don't think. I think it's just because I actually forgot about it. So this is the second one, and I don't even think I had started the second one the last time I showed these, when I was talking about how I hadn't finished the second one. So there you go. These are done, and I love them. The yarn is Drops Fable, and I really like this yarn. This is the second time I've knit socks in this yarn because I actually really wore the first ones. I think it was like my fourth pair of socks ever I knit out of these. It was maybe not the exact fourth, but somewhere around there. I was a really new knitter and I wore the heck out of those. So they sort of got sort of grungy and I tossed them. So I had to make myself another pair. I do want to order some more. They have several colorways. They have like an orange colorway of this and a pink and a teal. I think that might be it. So I do love them. I need to place some more orders for these. And some people have told me they ordered this yarn because I showed this. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. I haven't woven in the ends though. Let's be real. I usually do it right when I finish, but I didn't this time for some reason. So these are toe-up socks, and I think I sort of like them. These are toe-up sock with gusset from the socks. What is Socks from the Toe Up Wendy Johnson book, and I like the way these fit. Most toe-up socks that I have tried, now granted that's not that many, but I haven't really liked the way they fit, but I like the way these fit in the heel. So I do see myself making some more of these. In fact, I should cast some on right away so I don't don't forget that I want to do that. So these also will go in the box that I have for Advent gifts. And next, let's talk about works in progress. I did go buy buttons for my February lady sweater. I did that yesterday or the day before? Day before, Monday. So I need to sew them on, so hopefully I'll do that soon so you guys can see the finished February lady sweater. Wingspan. Oh my gosh, I am loving this knit. And for some reason my screen needs to be rearranged. I don't know what I did. Things are blocking other things. There we go. Wingspan. I am loving it. I have this in my Kiki Boo bag from Denise of the Knitting Den podcast. It's a cat bag, and it actually has, let's see if I can show it, real cat fur on there. Pumpkin's fur is on here. So I'm a real crazy cat lady. I think that's been established. So Wingspan is this awesome shawl pattern that has been on my knitting bucket list for a long time. And I said that to my husband the other day, and he laughed really hard that there's such a thing as a knitting bucket list. It's like he's never even met me. So this is this is not a very good picture because my printer was running out of ink, but that's the shape of it. I'm doing what you would sort of call the medium size of it, and I am loving this. I'm using some hand spun by Daisy Knits, or Daisy, on Ravelry, and she sent this to me a few years ago. I think it was like 3 years ago in a swap, and I've been hoarding it, waiting for the perfect project, and I think this is the perfect project. So it's a little bit less yellow than what you're seeing. The green is a little bit more blue. But I really like this project. I definitely will be knitting more, and I still have quite a bit left. So I love this. And the needles I'm using, I think these might be, why am I drawing a total blank? Anyway, they're like cheap Susan Bates. There you go. Is that the name? Yes. I think these are cheap Susan Bates needles. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But I really love that project a lot. So I've been trying not to work on it very much because I want to work on as many socks as possible during Sock Stravaganza. But this thing calls me. It just wants me to knit it. So I have to give in sometimes. All right, so that's Wingspan. That is designed by, I don't know how to say this, Tricoterie Designs. So it's on Ravelry. It's an awesome. I would say well written, but I had some issues with. I got really confused by it. It's probably just me. So it's once I understood it, I say it's a well written pattern, but I was very confused by it. But it was probably just me. Next, what I call my comic book socks. These are in my I name everything as I mentioned before. This is my Spaceman bag from Knit Run Dig. Sam. So the first one, I don't remember. I think I was almost to the toe. I really don't remember for sure, but the first one's done. I should put it on a sock blocker so you can see it. I brought these out just so I could use them, and then I forget. There we go. So sock number 1 is done. It's got some interesting pooling slash flashing here. This is the area of a sock. A sock, if you have the gusset like this, you always get some crazy stuff going on in that area. Almost always. Because the stitch count is different in those areas. So, but it's funny if you look at like this part, the colors are really vibrant because there's sort of more, there's more pooling, I guess, or fewer stitches. I don't know, like that. So that's always one of my favorite parts. The heel turn is my favorite part of the entire sock. I love the heel turn. I'm obsessed with the heel turn. I get so excited when I get to the heel turn. No matter what I'm doing, if I get to the heel turn, I don't stop. I never stop. I have to do the heel turn. I know, I'm crazy. Thus the reason why I have so many socks. So the second sock, you can see, I believe I might be either done or almost done with the gusset decreases on the second sock. And these are mirror images of each other. I just did this. Every other row is 8 stitches of purl. And I'm sure that's not original to me, but if there's an actual pattern that does that you know, let me know. If I could put the name of it, I will, but I just sort of like made that up. So that is just a made up pattern by me. The yarn is Knit Picks. The yarn is splitty. I don't like the yarn. I think it's a yarn that might be discontinued though. It's very, very splitty. I'm not enjoying the yarn. I like the colors, but the yarn itself, not enjoying. And then I have, oh, this sock is going to look different than the last time you saw it because I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I chose to rip out the foot. So this is a colorwork sock. This is the Blocks pattern by Charlene Church. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. And it's a colorwork sock. Let me get it on the needles. I mean on the needles. On the there we go. All right, so it's a colorwork sock. I really, really like it. I love geometric patterns. Geometric and floral are my 2 favorite shapes or patterns. So I did the top part on 72 stitches. I normally do my socks on 64 stitches, but I did these on 72. And then when I got to the foot to do the heel, I was like, I should really decrease down. Nah, I'll just knit the foot on 72. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine. The heel especially was super baggy, and I was all the way down to the toe. I was actually doing the toe decreases. And I tried it on one more time, and I'm like, I know I'll never wear these socks if I don't fix this. So I ripped it all the way back up to here. And then after I finished, like picking everything back up and getting it back on the needles, I did a decrease row to get it down to 64. And I'm doing my usual 64 on the foot. And I know it's going to fit much better and I'm going to be much happier and I'll actually wear these socks. So I really, really like this pattern. This is another pattern that was on my knitting bucket list for many, many years. Pretty much since I got that book, which was right after I started knitting socks, which was early, I think 2009 that I started knitting socks. So I am super happy that I'm doing these. There are a few more pairs of socks in that book that I really, really want to do. So I just need to do them and stop doing so many vanilla socks. I just get stuck in the vanilla sock trap because they're just so easy and portable. But once I get, most socks I don't do anything on the foot. So once I get it to the foot, all socks are vanilla socks for me. So anyway, and then last but not least for the socks that are on the needles right now, this is the scroll socks pattern, and this is from more sensational knitted socks. So the other sock was sensational knitted socks. This is more sensational knitted socks. I absolutely love this yarn so much. I cannot say enough nice things about it. This is Narwhal Needleworks, and she gifted this yarn to me, and I definitely will be buying some yarn from her because it is awesome. The colorway is called Good Vibes. This is her super squishy sock, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I love this yarn. It's not splitty. It's soft. It's awesome. I love it. Again, it's the super squishy sock base. And I love, 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 love knitting with this yarn. So like I said, I will be ordering some yarn from her because it's fabulous. So this is a pattern again that was, oh my gosh, that's not wrong. Look, this is the top, this is the toe. Okay, I swear I'm sober. Oh my gosh. Too busy ranting and raving about the yarn. Um, let's try this again. There we go. This is another pair of socks that I had on my knitting bucket list. I'm trying to work through my knitting bucket list, obviously. This is they're scroll socks, and I did these for the texture. This is probably a sock that's going to look even better because I will knit these again. These would look better, I think, on a solid yarn, but I wanted texture with this variegated, and it's hard to tell, but it's actually a couple of shades of green and a blue and a purple. So I really just wanted the texture, not necessarily to show the lace that well, although I think it shows up pretty well. Like, especially if you look at the purple sections. Let's see, let's look at this side. So I love, love, love. This is actually and I think I mentioned this before, when I first started knitting, I tried to knit these and I couldn't because I just didn't have the skills. So this is where I was the last time you saw these, and I finished the toe, and I'm on the cuff of the second sock. I think I am halfway through the first repeat, I'm pretty sure, of the next sock. And I think I did the repeat 4 times. And this bag is one that was gifted to me by Denise of the Knitting Den podcast. This I call the snail mail bag. She did a snail mail kit, and I love it. I think the colors go perfectly. I've been trying to match my projects to my bags because, yeah, I'm that kind of knitter. So that is it for knitting works in progress. So let's talk about upcoming events. I'm briefly going to mention the Sock Bunny Retreat. It is February 4th through the 6th in Florida. It's about 15 minutes from where I live, if that. I am taking signups through December 31st. I'm limiting it to 30 people, including myself. I already have 10 or 11 people signed up. So if it's something you want to go to, you need to get your registration in as soon as possible, because it is going to be first come, first serve. Everybody else will go on a waiting list if they want to. If we fill up, we may not fill up. There are 5 vendor spots open. I still have 1 more vendor spot open, so if you want to be a vendor, contact me and let me know. This year we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do an optional swap. So it's just going to be tiny little, it could be stitch markers, it could be, oh gosh, a candle. I'm just throwing stuff out there. It could be anything small. We're just going to do a small little swap only for people who want to do it in January. Right, the first week of January, I'll be able to tell you exactly how many you'll need to bring with you to the retreat. And also this year, I want to do a Tervis group photo. A Tervis, if you don't know what it is a tumbler that you drink out of, and they're awesome. And so a lot of people at the retreat have Tervises. So if you have a Tervis or Tervises, bring them to the retreat if you want to, and we're going to do a group photo, and I'm going to post it on Instagram and Twitter. So I follow Tervis on Instagram. And so that I want them to see our love for Tervis. And if you don't have a Tervis and you want to buy one while you're here, the Publix down the street sells them, and also Bed Bath & Beyond sells them. And in Sarasota, there's an outlet, the Tervis factory outlet. So if you want a Tervis, you can get one. And a big announcement, and I'm pretty shocked at this one. Another upcoming event for me is Knitopia. And if you've heard of Knitopia, you know that it is the annual retreat held by Tina from the Knitting Blooms podcast, and I am going to go. Now, the retreat is April 13th to the 24th. I think I'm going to go for the first stage of that, because that's like over a week. I don't know the exact dates yet, but I am going to be there for the early part of it. So if you're going to Knitopia, let me know which part you're going to, and I can't wait to get to meet some of you guys there. I have a feeling I'm going to freeze my behind off, though. I've never been to Michigan, but I know this is like northern Michigan in April, and I have a feeling I'm going to be cold. But luckily, I'm a knitter, and I have lots of knit stuff, so I might look like a hobo walking around with a ton of knit stuff on because I'm a Florida girl. I'm sure I will be the most wrapped up person there. Maybe I should buy some long johns or something to wear under my clothes. I know I'm acting like I'm going there in January. I'm going in April. Maybe it'll be warm this year. uh, anyway, I'm excited about that. So, yay, knitting retreats. All right, let's talk about fitness briefly. We do have a fitness along every month in the Sock Bunny group. If you work out at least 30 minutes consecutively, or 10,000 steps on your pedometer. You get 1 entry per person per day. The winner gets to choose up to a $10 giftable pattern on Ravelry. I did choose the July fitness winner. We had 244 entries with 23 participants. The winner was number 125, who is Knitter Chow, who is Kathy in Michigan. Yay, Kathy! So she posted 11 workouts in July. So Kathy, contact me and let me know which pattern or patterns you like that add up to $10. They have to be giftable patterns on Ravelry, and just send me a private message on Ravelry and let me know which ones you like. And I want to show my fitness poster. It has a bunch of smiley face stickers and one non-smiley face spot. But anyway, I'm doing a challenge with myself again, which I like to do. You know, I like my posters. So this is my really cheap printed poster. I did this in Excel, I think. This is, I'm trying to do 10,000 steps a day for 90 days. Well, yesterday I missed because I was having a really bad day. I wasn't feeling good. I was crabby. I had a headache. I just was like, no, I'm not doing it. So I was being rebellious. But you know, if you miss a day every once in a while, don't beat yourself up. Just get back out there and keep working out. I'll do my 10,000 steps a day. I'm over it. So I was just being really rebellious yesterday. So you see I have smiley face stickers there. And another thing, and I'm not really going to give myself a reward per se. This is just to hold myself accountable. But I am going to start doing my rewards again because I was doing rewards before where every 300,000 steps, which is 30 days worth of 10,000 steps, every 300,000 steps, I was going to give myself a reward. So I started. I was working towards 3,650,000 steps a while back. You'll probably remember that. So I'm going to do my rewards again that way. And so I started a new poster for that, which you can't read that probably, but I just started the slate at 4 million. So when I get to 4,300,000, I get a reward. So it'll probably be something Sims related, I'm sure. So I will be giving myself little rewards for that. So there you go. That's my fitness poster. And if you're doing some kind of fitness poster, why don't you show me a picture and let me know. And Bridget, I'm talking to you. I want to see your poster. Okay, not to call anybody out. I'm not going to give everybody your username, but you know who you are. Okay, let's see. Tips and tricks. Oh, tips and tricks. This is something that I keep forgetting about, so I wanted to tell you about it because you may not either know about it or you might keep forgetting about it. Also, if you have Amazon Prime and you own a Kindle, you can borrow 1 free book a month from Amazon. And it's a calendar month. So it goes from August 1st to August 31st. So like I borrowed a book yesterday, but on September 1st I can get another book, but I have to check my book back in. So you can get one book out at a time. You can keep it out as long as you need to. You don't have to read that book in a month, or I don't have to finish this book by September 1st or whatever. I could take however long I need to finish the book. When I turn that book back in, as long as it's a new calendar month, I can check out a new book. So last night, are you going to get up with the knitting pumpkin? You gonna hop up here? Here, let me move my stuff out of your way. Yeah, there you go. Mommy's got all her stuff in your way. There you go, honey bun. Oh, are you gonna come over here? No, he's not. So anyway, last night I checked out a book, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Let me move my soda out of the way here. Are you gonna come over here and sit with me? Come here. Come here, pumpkin. He's sniffing the knitting. You'll be able to see him in just a second. Hey, pumpkin. What are you doing? Oh, you're going to go lay down? All right. I think so anyway. Yes, we had to stop the podcast for him. All right. So, as I was saying, I did check out a book last night, which I will talk about shortly. But don't forget, if you own a Kindle and you have Amazon Prime, you can get a book every month. And what they say on the website is they have 800,000 books that you can borrow, including, this is their sales pitch, including all 7 Harry Potter books. So, if you haven't read Harry Potter books yet, and you don't want to buy them, and you have Kindle and you have Amazon Prime, there you go. I did read the books. My daughter insisted that I read them back when she was reading them, and I actually liked them. I didn't love them. I won't read them again, but I liked them. They were good. They were well written. The author definitely has a way with words, and with making people's names fit their personalities and stuff like that. So I did like it, but I don't love it. But anyway, that's a whole different subject. What I am watching and reading. I finished reading Hyperion. I actually remembered to bring the book over so I could show you. This is an older book. It's not like it's something new. Here's my review of it in a nutshell. I liked it. I won't be reading the sequel. I liked how it was written because it's basically a bunch of short stories that sort of all have a common thread. I did not like how the book ended. I'm not going to read the sequel, but I did go to a website and read what the sequel is about, so I know what happens. There was one character in particular at the end that I wanted to know what happened, and I was very unhappy with the way he ended the book. I don't think he gave, well, I mean, obviously he's trying to sell the sequel. So there was only one character that I really gave a darn about. I went and read what happened to that character, and I don't need to read the second book. So it's not a bad book. It's an okay book, and he has stuff in here I never would have thought of in a million years. But would I read it again? I would recommend people to read it, but I personally will not be reading this book again. But I don't read that many books again anyway. So that's Hyperion. It's sci-fi, definitely interesting. There is some sex in it, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, don't read this book. And there's also there's some bad language in it too. So I just say that because I know some people don't like that kind of stuff. Now, speaking of books I do like, if you'll remember recently I read a sci-fi Star Trek book written by William Shatner, and I also read another one that wasn't written by William Shatner, and I liked both of them, and I was completely surprised by that. So I went on eBay, which is the best place to go, in my opinion, to buy used books, and I found 4 books in a lot. There are tons of people selling books by William Shatner, so I had no problem finding it. So I found 4 books with where William Shatner was the writer. So here he is, if you want to see him. Captain Kirk. So this book, I think, might be a sequel. So before I read this one, I'll have to go find the original one. But this is a William Shatner book called Tech Vengeance. And this one was also written by Shatner, and it's called The Return. Legends Never Die. So this one shows Picard and Kirk on the cover. I still think Captain Kirk's the cutest. And then this book is called The Ashes of Eden. I will check all of these to make sure they're not sequels before I read them, because if they are sequels, then I'll buy the first books first. So this one, of course, has Shatner's face on it again. You know, you can sell books just by putting his face on there. Okay, enough. I know, I'm so stupid sometimes. Okay, and this one is called Dark Victory, and this one also has Shatner and Picard on it. So, I mean, Kirk and Picard. There you go. So I got 4 books off of eBay. I think I paid $5 total for these books. So, and again, like I said, I'll check and make sure they're not sequels before I go and read them. And then that made me say, well, I go to Goodwill a lot. I go there like at least once a month. So I did go to Goodwill, and I left them somewhere. Where's the bag? Pumpkin, what'd you do with the bag? Oh my goodness, where did I leave? Oh, I left it across the room, I think, because I was thinking I was going to have to sit over there to podcast because the cat wasn't moving for me, but he did move. So anyway, I did get a dozen sci-fi books while I was at Goodwill. Somebody was cleaning out their library and got rid of a bunch of sci-fi books. So I'll show those in the future. And as I was talking about my Kindle last night, I wanted to read a sci-fi book on my Kindle. I love reading on my Kindle. I actually prefer reading on the Kindle to reading an actual book because it's lightweight and there's no glare. Because I have the old e-ink Kindle, and I don't like having to hold the pages open. I'm so lazy. So anyway, I last night started reading 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was a book that was written in the 60s, around the time of the original U.S. space mission to the moon, and so I started reading that. So because I want to watch the movie again because I have seen the movie, but I thought I would read the book before I watched the movie again. So I'm just evidently going through a sci-fi stage right now. So there you go. Speaking of sci-fi, I am watching Warehouse 13 still. I started season 4, and there are five major stars from Star Trek, the Star Trek series on there. There is one person from Star Trek Next Generation. I'm not going to say who. I mean, he's a major part of Star Trek Next Generation. Two major characters from Deep Space Nine, and two major characters from Star Trek Voyager. So if you like Star Trek characters, you should watch Warehouse 13 because they're all over the place. And I really am liking Warehouse 13. I was talking to Girl Dale about it, and I think the thing that I'm liking is it sort of reminds me of Doctor Who. Just the adventure part of it and the craziness, anything can happen type of stuff. So if you want to if you like Doctor Who, you might like Warehouse 13. I'm just saying. So go check that out. Okay, favorite things. Today's not Thursday, but we're going to do a throwback Thursday. I'm going to show you a picture from the year 1994. How old would I have been? I would have been 38. Is that right? Yeah, I would have been 38. Rachel was about 9 or 10 months old. Sarah was just over 2. She was about almost 2.5. Well, no, she was just over 2. And are you ready? This is our family portrait from 1994. Here you go. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is before I had gray hair. My hair is actually like well, if you've seen my daughter Rachel, you know our hair is similar color. I used to always wear bangs, have these round glasses on. Joe's mom made the dresses for the girls. I made the sweatshirt because back then was when it was really popular to use the puffy paint, and like I had cut out a fabric panel, a Christmas fabric panel, and then I ironed it on, and I used the puffy paint to decorate it. Remember that? If you remember the 90s. So I made the sweatshirt. Joe just wore some random shirt. He looks almost like a floating head in this picture. So that is us 21 years ago. Oh my gosh. Hard to believe. So those two little girls are college graduates right now. Although Rachel is still, she's going to the 4-year college now. But yeah, time sure flies. I had to show that picture to you guys. It's just that is one of my favorite things. We actually have this in a gigantic version that we've had in the living room for years. We took it down when we did something and we need to put it back up. So anyway, yes, that's my favorite thing. And believe it or not, that is it. So don't forget to put your prayer requests in the prayer request thread if you have any. Don't forget to put all your socks in for Sock Stravaganza because, like I said, I'll probably close the threads September 1st. And don't forget to enter your fitness into the fitness threads. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are watching on YouTube, please do like it. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you haven't joined the Ravelry group, please join the Ravelry group. And for those of you who've watched me through all 4 years, give yourself a big gold star. And any new viewers, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you will come back. And I hope you have a great week. Keep on crafting. Bye.